If you're looking for wishy-washy, you've come to the wrong place. Larry Pratt from Gun Owners of America is going to take the microphone momentarily. Larry's been executive director of the 300,000 strong Gun Owners of America for over 30 years. And if you're here today and if you're not a member of GOA, you must become one. Mr. Pratt has appeared on numerous national radio and TV programs such as NBC, CBS, Larry King Live, Fox News, and another one. Mr. Pratt has held elective office in the state of Virginia, serving in the House of Delegates. Mr. Pratt directs a number of other public interest organizations and serves as the vice chairman of the American Institute for Cancer Research. But Mr. Pratt is best known the world over for his interview with a certain British subject. That's right. A certain constitutional traitor. And a CNN interview, his name is, I think it's Low Ratings, or it rhymes maybe with Low Ratings, except for your show. I think that interview got more hits for CNN than any other one they've ever done. Mr. Pratt represents the fearless truth-telling that we must all embrace if we are to protect our liberty, our Constitution, and our way of life. For this fearlessness, Mr. Pratt, we, patriots around the world, are very grateful.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, patriots. Good to be here. My notes have locked up, so I'm going to have to be careful I don't run on. Yes, I'm sorry that Piers Morgan's not going to be able to be here with us today.
We are too, really.
But you can find him online even if you don't watch CNN. And I think may all of our enemies be like that. May those that want to transform our country speak with a foreign accent. I think that's very helpful to our cause. So thank you, Piers. We appreciate you, buddy. Keep up the good work. We've just been through quite a legislative battle in Washington, and I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes of how that came about, that something that looked like it was a slam dunk to pass when we turned the corner on Newtown. And then as time went on, the measure, first of all, they said, well, we're not going to be able to get a gun ban passed, so we'll go for registration. And then we'll go for a background check, which actually was registration. And the length of the debate enabled us to make that argument that what they were doing by making us fill out forms was to put our names on a registration list. They say, well, there's two places in federal law where that's illegal. That's true. There are two places. And those are two federal laws that the federal government breaks every single time a gun is sold, because they do keep a record. And if you're a dealer, then you've seen the form when you go online that says, notice all names and addresses supplied through this internet portal become the property of the federal government. So if that's not a registration list, I don't know what is. But we know that they are keeping those names. They say they are keeping those names. The Justice Department just in your face tells you that. And it has nothing to do with 24 hours or any other length of time. So the federal government that brought us fast and furious and has still not done anything to bring those people to justice thinks they have the moral authority to determine whether one of us schlubs can buy a gun. That really shouldn't even pass the laugh test. That is outrageous that these people who are so unqualified, who should be in jail, are running a system to pry into our personal lives. And of course, it's very effective. It keeps guns out of the hands of criminals. I know everybody here understands that. This is just an enormous bit of illegality. We've got to put a stop to it. One of the things that we can do to go on the offense is something that Representative Stockman has put into the hopper in the House of Representatives. Did it the first hour of the new Congress. H.R. 35 is a measure that would take away, make it legal again to have guns in school zones. Right now, as you all know, and the matter was addressed, that's quite illegal. You can get in a lot of trouble if they find that you have a gun in the school zone. Well, that's one way we could save a lot of lives, and we could send a message to the dirtbags that think it's cool to shoot up a lot of people that you may not even get off your first shot. So that's a message that definitely needs to be sent. We're working on that. We would appreciate you, especially if you're, I don't know what you can do with New Jersey, but there's probably a few places where, in fact, I know Congressman Garrett, and he's a very fine guy, and he may already be a co-sponsor of this legislation. But over on this side of the river, we should be getting a lot of support. And that's something that's very practical that can be done, and we would really appreciate that. It was a long fight. We were not initially expecting to win, especially when the so-called watered-down version of the background check was on the table. But then we were able to make the argument that it was registration, and people continued to make those phone calls. I know that on one day here in Pennsylvania, all of the contacts from Pennsylvania to Senator Toomey's office totaled 45,000 contacts. Phone calls, letters, postcards, whatever. If they picked up the phone to make an outgoing, it was, "What are you going to do about that blankety blank bill of yours?" You know, so I think it took the starch out of his sales, and when he lost, he said, "Well, we're moving on," which we were very grateful. We're glad to hear that. That was a good thing to say, and I think maybe they will be moving on. And something else that was very critical about that, I know it's not per se a gun issue, but it's a freedom issue. We began to see that if we were able to beat the president on this flagship issue of his, gun control, that the rest of his agenda was likely to falter. And you know what? That's exactly what's happening. Even the immigration bill, which tactically I think they should have led with, that might have passed if that had been first. I don't think it's going to pass now. It's probably not going to get out of the Senate because it might be that we can filibuster it. Why do we care about an immigration bill? Well, frankly, it's a matter of numbers. If you bring in a whole bunch of Democrats into the country, most of them are going to vote to take away our guns. And in a few years, that's exactly what would happen. So we don't want the other problems that come with that, but just from a Second Amendment point of view, we have a dog in that fight. And it's important that we keep that bill down so that it is not able to afflict us the way the one that Reagan gave us has afflicted us. These bills don't work as they promise. And they're making the same promises that Reagan made and that the Democrats made back in that day, and they all turned out to be not true, and we just can't have that happen again. And especially not now, because our guns are really front and center. They're looking for any way they can come and take the guns. They want it so bad. And I think the reason that fight that we were in lasted from right after Newtown until the vote, I guess it was in April, was it was unprecedented. They'd never continued a debate. The media had never prolonged it like that before. And the best we can figure, the reason they did that is because they can see that public opinion is moving our way. And it was moving our way during the debate. And so they lost because of what they were doing on that. They finally, I think, got the memo. And I'm not sure they're going to try to pick it up again. That's what they said they would try to do, but it's hard to... people don't like to vote on the gun issue. It's very controversial. And so, sorry, I've been speaking over the mic. I can hear myself. I don't know why you can't. So we're going to need to remain vigilant, because if they find us napping, if they find another vote that they could, a measure that they could attach it to, they might try it. And here's the deal. Because they were afraid of Senator Thune and a bill that he has, they set the vote bar at 60 for all votes. And that's why we won, because they didn't have 60 votes. But if they left it at a majority vote, Thune could have had his measure as an amendment. He's already, on a previous vote, found 53 votes in the Senate for his measure. His measure says that, say if you live in Wyoming where you don't need a concealed carry permit at all, you could fly to New York City. I'm not sure why you'd want to, but you could fly to New York City and you could carry concealed with your driver's license as your legal protection, whereas all the others in the city, except the crooks, are not going to be carrying. So that is just absolutely pure poison to the liberal mind that wants to control everything. We can't let people walking around big cities like that. Well, they do it in Phoenix. And Phoenix, last I know, is a pretty good-sized city. Tucson, not too small either. And they've got a whole lot less crime there than they do in New York. New York would love to have the crime problems, quote-unquote, that they have in those Arizona cities. So, not to mention Wyoming. So I think we've got an agenda that is set to take off. We've got them down, and if we keep the pressure on offense, thankfully we've got people like Representative Stockman and Senator Cruz in the Senate. We've got people that'll fight. And I think because of that, we're going to see a lot of action during the rest of the year, and especially in the Senate where the rules are more favorable to what we're trying to do. And Senator Cruz has shown that he may have only been there for 4 months, but he knows how to run circles around just about everybody else in that Senate. We've got a real hero there that's ridden into town from Texas. And I'm so happy that we made a major effort to support his campaign when he was a candidate, and he has not disappointed us, and I'm certain that he's not going to disappoint us. This guy is the real deal. I've got some brochures over here. We'd love to have you join Gun Owners of America. If you have not, you can also go online to gunowners.org and get on our email alert list. That's a freebie. And that's how we did a lot of the lobbying to kill the Manchin bill. Oh, you're senator. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. But not for long. Let's hope not. I came here to campaign for him, and I'm sorry I did. It was very disappointing. He really misled. He had been pro-Second Amendment in the House. Something happened when he got into the Senate, and he has flipped. And now we've got to flip him out the next chance that we get. But please join up. We'll stay strong because you folks are the real deal, and you believe in getting things done. Thank you very much.